yeah, it ended up being that movie, that same DVD that my cousin told me about a year and a couple months earlier. The Truth About Hip Hop. I was like, whoa. So when I knew that, I was like, wow, okay. So I sat down and watched it for myself. And it blew my mind in a lot of different ways. I was like, whoa. You know, I don't know much about, what I'm saying, who the pastor is. I've seen several different things he's taught on since, but that particular DVD, what I'm saying, convicted me in a way that a lot of stuff hasn't. And so from that particular time, I was like, you know what? I threw away all my hottest music back then. It was regional. This was during the era of the internet, so you still had your Limewire and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Streaming. This was the beginning of streaming like that. You know what I'm saying? But I had so much downloaded music that I was gonna bring back to Minnesota and put everybody up on. Cause back then it was still kind of regional. Like you still kind of had to have connects. But the internet did exist. You know what I'm saying? LimeWire and all of those different sites did exist. But I had so much music that ain't nobody heard it. I was so excited for. I threw all that away. I was like, you know what? I threw it all away because I felt so convicted by this DVD. But I still wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought. But I ended up seeing the DVD, throwing all my music away. I ended up coming home, leaving Philly to come home. I left Philly New Year's Eve, and I was getting home. A matter of fact, I was leaving Philly the day before New Year's Eve, and I was arriving back home in Minnesota New Year's Eve, but like early in the day. And so all my homies was excited because they was planning on the different things they wanted to do to bring in the new year. And so everybody agreed to go to a club that night. And so I ended up getting back in Minnesota. As soon as I got back in Minnesota, it was like that same feeling again, like where it was kind of like, man, I'm back here. Dang, man. But I knew I wasn't going back to school. I was dropping out. And I knew I had to figure out something else for myself. And it was just kind of like, all I wanted to do was just kind of just make some money and just kind of, you know what I'm saying, give me a little honey dip. That was kind of my goal, like find me a job or something and just kind of get booed up. But I ended up coming back to Minnesota, man, and it was New Year's Eve, and it was just a crazy night that night, man. So yeah, all I know is I got back New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. We go out to the club to party, and it felt good. All my like a couple of the homies that I was cool with came out. So you know what I'm saying, they was all there. We was all deep in the club with the homies, and it had passed midnight. So this was towards the end of the night. We was getting ready to leave. This was probably a couple hours after midnight. And all I could remember was looking to the side and seeing this dude linked up on the bar. And he was kind of linked up on the bar, drunk or whatever, but he was staring at me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to act all brand new because I got people with me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't like that. But it was just weird how this dude just kept staring at me, and he was just staring, and it was just like, man, okay, what's going on with dude? I knew he was drunk, but it's like, why he keep staring? And I mentioned it kind of just half-heartedly to the homie, like, man, why dude staring at me? And they turned up, like, so, and when I mentioned that to him, and I'm like, why he staring at me? And I can see his reaction. That's when he started to turn, because he seen me point to the homies and I pointed at him. That's when he act like he wasn't looking, and he kind of turned his body sideways, and I'm like, okay, so he was staring. But it was weird, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to get all extra, but it was just weird. Before I knew it, my homies ran over there and just got mollywopping dude, just got the. And me, you know what I'm saying, you can't start nothing and then don't be a part of it. So I felt like I had to jump in and get a couple punches in. So of course, I threw a couple punches, got, you know what I'm saying, and that was that. And then the homie ended up getting detained for they ended up letting him go. But I knew right then and there, like, that's not how you want to bring in the new year. And it was already like, you know what I'm saying, I'm back in the environment that I said I didn't want to be in. Clubs, music, all that stuff going on. And so it was just like, man, I gotta figure out something else.